Hand tools are modern. They're well and truly tied into history, so that might sound somewhat backwards. But for the modern woodworker, who's short on space and on time, I believe they're the most practical option. In this video series, we're building a small side table. It's been designed to be built by hand, and will show how hugely satisfying and fluid hand tools can be when you pick the right project. It's a flat pack if you want, but it's also extremely well made with traditional joints in solid oak. But most importantly with this video series are the skills to be learned. There are skills which will become essential to everything that you build. Perfect. And more interesting perhaps are the guides. This is a little system that we created whilst coming up with a way to teach foolproof bridle joints. Many skills with hand tools simply require practice. Practice and tea. You'll get the feel soon enough and it will click and then become second nature. Planing a square edge is a good example. You're going to need to do that a lot, so you may as well train yourself to get bloody good at it. Now bridle joints, they can be a sod even with practice, particularly if you're wanting a bit of pace. It's basically a mortise and tenon without the top corner. It's basically open, so that's your mortise piece and this is your tenon, and they fit together much like a mortise and tenon. It's an incredibly strong joint. All of our grain is in the right plane. It's all long grain to long grain gluing surface, so very strong. And I would actually say it is potentially stronger than a mortise and tenon in the corner if we're relying solely on glue, because it has to be cut right or it'll be scruffy. And even if you're not worried about looks, you need to get that fit perfect for strength. We've come up with this guide system so you can get on and cut perfect repetitive joints straight off the saw. The whole point is there's no cleaning up to do. I could give it to anyone to cut them. And there we go. And as usual with this, all joints fit into any other joint just as well. We'll make the guide step by step so you can build your own system that can be put aside for future use. And it's a concept that you can scale up or down and knock up a set whenever you're feeling inspired to build. The aim of the design was to use minimal materials to reduce repetition. This makes it quick to prep, and since everything's seen in isolation, we don't even have to be that accurate with our dimensioning. But it's still nice to have a bit of decorum about yourself, so we're going to go through in depth, hand prepping, right from the rough sawn board. The aprons cross over, which means we only need to cut 2 of them. This keeps the piece interesting visually. And along with halving the number of joints we'll need to cut, it also gives us a double splay to the legs. So that's interest, stability and speed. And it also allocates for timber movement far better than conventional design. You'll need just one rough sawn plank of wood, 1 inch thick, 9 inch wide by 8 foot long. We'll get everything from this one board, so it's cost predictable. And you'll also get a nice colour and grain match throughout the piece. I'm using oak, but use whatever you want. And because it's only one board, give yourself the best start by choosing one that's nice and straight across its length and flat across its width. No board will be perfect, but bear this in mind and try to avoid defects such as knots. The guides are knocked up out of some old gash from the firewood pile. These are about 1x2 pine. I've added magnets to mine. You'll need 4 if you choose to use them, but they're not essential. I've taken some time over the finishing. I thought it might be a bit more interesting than just ragging on some oil, so we're going to be showing you how to ebonise the base, the proper way. This works particularly well on oak, but our own brewed recipe will have similar results on almost any wood. There's a tool list which you'll find around the video's details, and as you can see, it's pretty minimal. You don't even need a joinery saw. A rougher panel saw will do. And that's how I cut these joints, and it was faster than making pocket holes. Once you've done the table, I hope you go on and take the ideas and alter it into other pieces that you've been meaning to make. I'm currently on a full-size dining table and chairs using the same methods. I'll show you them soon,